you're usually about round 6 or 7 before you get on everyone.
Yeah, but I suppose if you set the date, you get going early, don't you? And if you've got the right infrastructure, Grub, you've got everyone's email addresses, you've got all their phone numbers, you can get it out there pretty quick and let them know. So, but you do need to give people some time. The Belpo Stills past players' days, I think it's round 17 against Winch.
Yep.
So we put the early feelers out just on the Facebook page, saying save the date, doing more details as it comes, just so people can organise it.
Yeah.
So they are tough to organise, they are tough to run, and good on Thomson for having it today, and hopefully they get a fair few of them about.
Well, it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see. And every past players you go to, it ramps up the crowd. Import it just ramps the whole day up.
It does, and as the old saying goes, mate, the older they get, the better they were, and some of them get a couple of jars of Dutch courage and tell everyone how great they were, and let the umpires and players out in the ground know how good they were, and
exactly,
just adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it?
Well, and it does, and I know I said it at Belpo Hill, but I hope the boys have a great day today. I hope they watch a magnificent first half, because if they do the past players proud, they won't see too much of the second half. But that doesn't matter.
It's like Dale could go to one every week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you're not bad if you throw some cricket clubs and footy clubs in together.
I've got a couple. The footy club's only got 4.
See, I was loyal.
It's because no one else wanted you. Let's be honest. I've only got 4. I only left Cressy because the club folded. I had no real choice there, did I, mate? Anyway, let's wander on some footy matches for the day. We'll get to the match of the day a bit later on. First game off the rank, Belmont Lions versus Corai. Obviously, Belmont very impressive last week. It's down at Elite Training Centre Oval. So
that means it's a Belmont?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know that's what it's called.
well, that's good because I can remember from last week. What's Corai's ground called now?
All in one.
All in one. And for those who haven't quite got it yet, it's the Winter Resort for mine.
Winter Resort and the Devil's Playground.
They must have been very, very, very good. As I said, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I did watch them in the practice match, and I thought, by crikey, they're moving the ball better than I've seen them move for a long time. A lot of new players, and I'm not going to speak too much about them because I actually don't know them yet. But there were 2 that stood out last week, Brad Michelle and Nick Sheriff. Both played very good footy. Noah Hootsma. Good to see Macaulay Harrison back. I don't know if he played last week, but he's named this week.
He played last year.
Yeah, but
he played in the twos.
He played in the twos, and it's pretty fair to say, without having a go at him, he was not in quite the condition that you'd like to play senior footy. That's probably why he played twos.
Probably why he played twos.
So I'm really, really hoping that he's got that condition off him, and because he was a real good player. He's one of my favourite players, Macaulay Harrison.
To put it in context for you, Grubby, he was wearing my old number and hasn't been worn since I retired 15 years ago. So that's probably the shape he was in.
Well, there you go. I hope the World Championship Wrestling don't come here. They'll give it to Andre the Giant. But even though he's not alive. But look, I like some of their better players are still kids. Right, Christian Barsick, he's only still a kid. Brock Marnie, he could be anything, Brock Marnie. He's a real good kid. And, of course, the Evans boys never, ever give up. They haven't quite got the greatest class of all time, but they just don't stop. They just keep at you and at you and at you. So, the 2 coaches, I know Vermeulen played pretty well.
The big fella, the ruckman, that someone said played pretty well too. What's his name? I don't know. I can't...
Well, Evans was, but he didn't play, did he?
No, he started on the bench. There was another bloke. He wore number 40, Spider, I think. Someone said.
Jump on last week's results.
Well, if Brian Cogsy is listening, text it in for us, mate.
He'd be on the gate collecting the cash, mate.
Yeah,
he
would be. Bloke, big, strong bloke. Had a crack
for you.
Got in and mixed it around a bit. And definitely.
Number 40, I'd just say. That's Hootsma. Noah Hootsma. Is that him?
Might have been. I don't know. I'll have to.
That's number 40.
Well, if that's the kid, he apparently played very, very well. So you're right. So, look, all in all, they are definitely going to improve. How much they're going to improve, we don't know. But give them a few weeks to beat Inverleigh, the reigning premiers. All right, maybe premiership hangover. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. They beat Inverleigh, which no one in the whole GDFL thought would do. Obviously,
they beat Inverleigh. They beat Inverleigh at
Belmont.
At Belmont, mate. They didn't beat Inverleigh.
Didn't say they did at Inverleigh.
You just did, right?
No, I said they beat Inverleigh.
At Inverleigh.
No, I didn't. I'll watch it tonight.
I'll watch it tonight.
I'll ring you up and say what it is.
I apologise, Spider.
Yeah, that's what he'd be saying.
I know they played at Belmont, and I can tell you now, they'll beat a lot of sides at Belmont.
They will.
I think a lot their year depends just on how they play away from home. But, look, a real good first up for them. And Coria, we saw last week. We're impressed with them for a lot of the day. They've got a lot of kids playing, and those kids are just going to improve and improve and improve. They've got some experienced players to go with them, as in, well, probably the best player in the comp in Joel Bennett. Toby Bennett, he's going well too. The other boys they recruited, Jelinek and Bert, they're all young fellas, so they may take a bit of time.
And they're all 6'2", brother. They're not 5'8".
Well, yeah, that's right.
Tall and dull and all.
But see, the thing is, they even look tall to me sitting here, so I was never sucked in by that, being 5'1".
I was.
You know, the kids. Savanka was good.
Bingham
was okay. He's got a bit to learn. He's okay. The other two boys, Bartolo, still got a bit to learn, but they're going all right. I just think they play some really, really good footy, but as yet they haven't quite learnt to play that good footy for long enough. And once they do, and hopefully at some part of this year, they could be a contender, hopefully one of the 8 or 9 for the 5th spot.
Dale.
Yeah, look, I have to agree. I thought Corio were, for me, they stayed in the game a lot longer than they have been in recent years. As I said, they usually run with sides till half-time, fall away in the third quarter and then make a recharge. I thought right up until about halfway through the last quarter last week, they were still a real chance to win the game of football. So I'm impressed with that. As I said, I consider them to be a small side. They are not a small side. They've got some young blokes that are all good size. They can all jump at the ball. They all commit themselves to play football and go hard at it. They've got a definite future out there. They do need to get an extra ruckman in there to help Green out, because I think by the end of the day he is going to struggle when he comes up against last week was Paddy Daly and another bloke that cut him out for a little while.
That was the full forward that I was talking about.
Yeah, he did a great job.
No, I'm just saying, but he gets a break daily. That's what I'm saying. Green can't do it. He is a lot lighter, a lot thinner than most around the league.
O'Halloran.
Yeah, so they need to find someone else that can go in there and do that work. They put Jelinek, one of the Jelinek boys in there, I think, for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be their answer, not long term. They need to find somebody else that's around. So if anyone wants a 6'5" or 6" and wants a game of football, go out and see the boys at Corio, because I'm damn sure they could use you out there as a second ruckman and would improve them again, because I think the young kid Greenwood does need that spell.
Trouble is, they don't grow on trees, mate.
They don't. That's hard to find. But as I said, there may be someone around that's just sitting around doing nothing, but there's a place to go. Belmont Lions, as you said, Grub, they have to be impressed with what they've done. As I said, Inverleigh probably went in with rewarding players that had done a lot of their pre-season work. Come undone. They've made a few changes to their side today, but the fact is, you don't beat Inverleigh that often, and to do it by 31 points just goes to show that they are on the right track. They're heading in the right direction. They've recruited, obviously, a few players which will have improved them, and I think at home today it's going to be another close game, but if I was sitting on the fence, I would this time sway towards Belmont Lions, only because it is at Belmont. If it's at Corio, I'd be choosing Corio.
The issue, I said watching Corio last week, the only thing I said it this morning, Grub, I don't know if you heard it, but they just lack that. They've got Joel, they've got Matty James, a couple of, but they just look that pure polish, don't they?
I don't know.
I just reckon they just need a couple of blokes, I reckon, out there, just a little bit older, your mid to late 20s, just a bit of class, put behind them.
Well, yeah, I think they need that, but I mean, Jack Hall's a good player. The other bloke that came in, I thought he came good in the second half. What was his name? The other bald-headed bloke. Was it Keeley or Keatley or something? Keeley. I think he's got a bit of class. You got to remember in GDFL footy, you're probably only going to have the half a dozen class players. They might have 4, so they might be a couple short, but I don't know. I think some of these kids, because they're so young, could develop into what you want.
No, and that's what I'm going. I think they're doing it the right way, and they've got some good players who just, as I think Dale said, that I think last year we called and said they had problems keeping the ball in the forward line. That's why they kept getting beat.
Yeah.
And then they got the Jelenics. They're going to miss Brett Burnley. He's obviously given the game away. Bo Burnley's given the game away. I said Brett, Bo.
They're
going to. Oh, nearly there. They're going to miss that sort of the body presence, but they fight to keep the ball. And as you said, Dale had half a game last year. This time they're going halfway through the last quarter. So a lot to like about Corio.
I was just going to say, Joel Bennett, as I said, is a great player, and I know he needs to have a spell, but why wouldn't you just go and sit him at full forward instead of bringing him off the ground?
I reckon they'd have trouble keeping him at full forward. That's a problem. You go after the ball somewhere. That might be why.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as an option further down the ground, we spoke about him kicking out from full back and him being that running player coming through the ground. Now, if someone else kicks out and Corio win the ball and they give the handball to Joel Bennett, you know it's going to go to centre half forward and hit someone on the chest.
Yep.
When he's kicking out from full back, he's not going to be that next player in the contest to get that handball off and run. I would like to see them change that. I don't know who they go to. Give it to his brother. Let him kick out because he's a good kick also.
Good kick as well.
But he's to me is the bloke. We know he can play football, and he's the bloke that just knows where to go, how to find a ball, and then deliver it to the next person down the field. So you have one kick. Joel Bennett gets it. You're inside the forward 50, the other end on any ground in the competition because he runs and carries.
Yeah, the other thing there is, I wouldn't cut it out completely. Right? I'd only cut it out. All of a sudden, I'd get him to go down there, knowing that James has made position because he's the next bloke to get it then. And with the way he kicks the football, you've got it down on your forward line on these smaller grounds in 2 kicks. So I think as a surprise tactic, well, it's not surprise anymore because I just told everyone, but as a surprise, every now and again I'd get him to kick out with a set plan to go to James. And James will get it on his own easily because he's a class player too.
That was a surprise tactic last week, wasn't it? Matty handball.
Yes, and a lot.
Yeah, but the problem,
which is fantastic to see, by the way.
Well, it is, but the problem was after quarter time that when people started to realise who he was, a lot of young kids from where we wouldn't even know who he was. When they started to realise who he was and how good he was, they put a little bit more pressure. He's going for the handball, ended up running backwards and sideways. Then he probably should have kicked it. But that's just working out his new role. And you watch, the player that he is, he's a Whitley Mills. He'll get that down pat. Don't worry about
absolutely.
that.
All right, so Belmont for both of you two.
Yeah, I'm staying Belmont because it's a Belmont.
Yeah, I'm going to do it exactly the same reason. If it was at the Devils Playground, I'd lean to them.
Okay. Up at Quest Oval, which is Windy Hill. Belpost Hill are taking on Inverleigh. Belpost Hill, as we said, we'll say it was a shock win. I don't think anyone expected it, except those at Belpost Hill versus Inverleigh, who, while you might lose a game, I think it was 36 scoring shots to 20 or something. So they've lost by 30 points, but they've been dominated all over the ground. Dale, what are your thoughts on this one, mate?
Well, again,
this is the Dale Smith Cup. You've coached both clubs.
Well, that's it. I lasted longer at one than the other, but that's okay too.
Left on your own terms at one.
Yeah, no, that's all right. So, look, again, I would have loved to have seen I don't sit back and watch a replay during the week. Maybe I should have had a look at Belpost Hill to see how they play. But obviously, what they've been able to do with the group they've put together, and we talked about it before, but just playing roles, this is your job. This is what you need to do. Let's get it down there. I would have thought, if you had asked me last week what this game would do, I'd said Inverleigh will win by 60, 70 points. Now I'm not too sure. But they have made some changes back into the side with, I think, Toby Manganelli come back into the side.
Yep.
There was 2 or 3 others.
Well, Best is out.
Best, well, they went in for another. But they just need to obviously, maybe they went out there thinking they were going to win the game. Maybe the attitude there just needs to be that, hey, we're going to come up against some teams that are going to be out there after us this week and next week and every other week we play. We've got to be at our very, very best, otherwise we're going to lose. Look, I honestly don't know. I would think Inverleigh would win the game of football, but I'm not going to say. I don't know. I can't pin it. I can't. I've got no idea. Basically, this early in the season, I can't tell who's going to win that game of footy.
Okay, Rob.
Well, I'm going to say the same thing, but not on this game. On this game, there is a game there that I'm going to say the same thing, and it's the next one. But look, we all talked about the players who left. Right, and they're great champions of Belpost Hill. Don't get me wrong; they're fantastic players and fantastic blokes. What I forgot to do really is look at the players that didn't leave. Players like Quinn, Kerins, Herman, Bo Collins as good as anybody in the competition. Zach Jones a good player. Harmer's a good player. You know, Flaccavento's still there. Fantella's with easier experience. You know, and Braden Staggerhard's a good player.
And Captain Courageous.
Yes.
The Ruckman.
Sorry, no, Yates the captain. He's probably the best captain in the competition. So, look, to be quite honest with you, yes, they've lost some greats, but they've still got some good players here. But what we didn't know is who they added. And we still really don't know. Josh Norman, I don't know about. Some of these, all Mardo's kids, you
Adams.
probably know more about it than me. Tanner and, I forget the other blokes, but Harvey. I think the other one's still in twos. But I don't know how they played, but they must have played pretty well. So let's just say we've underestimated probably the greatest side we've had in the last 30, 40 years. We've all underestimated them, and we probably shouldn't, but I'm not going to underestimate them again, but I'm not going to pick them because I just think, even though it's up at the hill, this mob are going to be angry. They've gone out to Belmont thinking, all right, we'll take this one, we'll win this one, and we'll win the first couple, and they got beat. And I know they got a few out, but, Manganelli comes back in. Donahue comes back in.
Donahue's
To
back
my
in.
mind, is a huge in. And they've still got some of their great... You know the bloke I'm really, really glad to see in? Big Cad McEwen Walsh. He's battled injury. I've spoken to him a few times off the ground when he was watching the games, and he had the bit between his teeth, and he's a ripping bloke. But I tell you, out there he's not. Out there he's got that mongrel that you need. The blokes know he's coming when he's coming, and you do look over your shoulder, and he's the perfect foil, like you were talking about before at Corio, where Big Jack Green hasn't got someone to come in. When the big fella Wilson goes and has a spell, Cad McEwen goes in there, and you do not lose anything. He plays fantastic in there, so great to see him back. One of the new blokes is Modolo, who played pretty well last week. One of the things that we also forget is that their retirees are old blokes. Yep, some of them. Right? You go, oh, well, they're old blokes. You get on the video and watch the whole final series, right?
Alfred was their best player.
Was terrific. Alfred was probably their best for the second, maybe him and Billy Casons, but he was fantastic. And a couple of games there, Jared Young, he kept Whitney to nearly nothing. He doesn't do the big stuff anymore at his age, but he makes sure that things don't happen with other players, and he's really good at that, So all of a sudden, those 3 outs, to me, look like pretty big outs. And without knowing the ins, I'm not quite sure. But remember last time this year, they out of the 5, about round 4 or 5, they still won the flag. So I'm not taking anything away from them. I think they'll come back angry after last week, and I just think they'll be too good for Inverleigh, but maybe not. Don't underestimate the Panthers.
They were 1-5 or 2-5 or something, weren't they, at one stage?
But that was injury. They had a lot of blokes out.
Yeah.
So Peel's got to come back in, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's next week, I think.
Yeah.
There it is, final siren here in the 2s. It sees East Geelong 8-4-52 to defeat Thomson's 6-10-46 by a solitary goal. The ball was in the Thomson forward line. Mickey O'Leary played it very well as umpire then, mate.
He just gave 7 free kicks in a row to East. Good on you, Mick.
15 ball ups, mate, and there was no one around. Anyway, on to the next game. I think it's on your grubber. You're going to sit on the fence. North Geelong versus Anarchy, and a big shout out to Kelly Parker. Not only does she put up with Jason Habib as her partner, but she is playing game 400 today for the North Geelong Football Netball Club.
That is a massive, massive effort. And not just a player either. Best and fairest winner in most grades.
Yeah, premierships.
20, 22 years in netball. You'd think, oh, well, I'll get sick of it. And without having a go at it, she doesn't mind a little drink now and again. You'd think you'd sort of go and have a beer and watch it. Nah, she's kept going and going and going. She's been a fantastic player. She's been fantastic for the club. And without having a go at Jason Habib, which I'd love to because he's a mate of mine, he's had all this time as president and he gives away the presidency. What's he going to do? He goes and be the team manager for the side that she's playing in. That's backing up your partner.
Absolutely.
I've got your back. I want to help you out now. And as much as we, as I say, we love to bag Jason Mibb, that's a beautiful thing to do. And look, I find her a beautiful person.
She is.
She's a
cracker.
I think one night I was looking to go into on the list where he was sitting. Just takes me glasses off and walks away with them. So she's a joker. She's just a beautiful person, and 400 games is a magnificent effort. And I've got to take my hat off to her. But the main thing is, just enjoy the day. Enjoy all the accolades that come your way because you deserve them.
We should be on the court now, I'd imagine. About now the
so I wasted the whole speech. Good on you.
That's
no
right.
worry, I won't bother next time.
She'll watch the video, mate. Don't worry. Who wins? What's your thoughts?
North Geelong, right. A couple of Swinnersons still playing. Probably 3 of them. Zach, Luke, and Tommy's a good player. They've kept them. The new blokes that I'm quite sure played all right last was a Harry Cornelius, who I've never heard of. Rory Desnoy played pretty well too. Don't know too much about him. It's very, very hard to say how they're going to go. But Sam Reynolds was full back last year. I think he's played this year at centre forward, which is, I don't know, maybe it suits him better because he was a shit centre back, Sam. But look, honestly, I don't know about
North. Get the lawyers on speed dial.
Noah Billy, don't know him. There's just too many that I don't know. Anarchy, look, as I say, maybe not quite as disappointing as everyone thought because I think Bannockburn are going to be, at this stage, the best in the... Whether they finish like that in September, I don't know. But at this point in time, they could be the best side in it. So that might not have been that poor a performance. Some of the... I shouldn't have picked this bloke. I shouldn't have picked him because his name is Tupazakis or something. apparently played a really good game, one of the new ones. The boy from Thomson, Ujis, I think they might have made him vice-captain. He's going well. The big fella's back, Quail Mon.
Yeah, he's playing.
He's going to play in the ruck, so I don't know who's getting. I think Blake Miller will probably get a run in the ruck there, but boy, geez, you're going to have to be a good player to beat him in the ruck. I don't know. This is the one that I really can't tell because I just don't know enough of the new players in. So what I'll probably do